Everybody seems to look at Disney as a family company. I don't understand why. They've abandoned that kind of attribution a long time ago. They no longer enjoy my sense of family, community, or Americana. Maybe they still do for you, but they're constantly proving that they're basically adversarial to anybody who has a family. And if you don't believe me, observe some of the pictures and live streams being done at the Ultimate Fan event at D23 Expo just this last weekend. Obviously, all the people they're appealing to with their storytelling certainly are people who are stuck in the same rut that they were when they were in their youth. Now, I am not adversarial to Disney. I've always enjoyed their products and I've always had a good time in their theme parks until very recently. And now that no longer seems to be a priority as they move very far away of what I would consider family entertainment. And proof positive of that is easy enough to attain. In fact, right here, I'm going to show you an example of just how un-Disney Disney is now that, well, they've taken the biggest step of moving towards gambling. Now, not necessarily gambling directly, but gambling association, which Disney seems to think is perfectly fine. Case in point, ESPN Bet is now a thing. And right now, Penn Entertainment is losing some revenue because of the ESPN Bet agreement. They are actually dragging down their Q2 earnings just because they have associated themselves with ESPN. Now, that's a short term thing. It was a financial decision to basically partner with Disney and utilize the ESPN moniker on a bunch of their property. And when I say a bunch of their property, I'm talking about physical locations like the one you're looking at right now. Now, Penn Entertainment is a big gambling entity, not small in any way. And they are constantly trying to look for ways to improve their bottom line. But most recently, in their Q2 earnings, it doesn't look to be that way. So, in looking through this story, we noticed that Penn Entertainment, parent company of Hollywood Casino locations in Granville, York, and Morgantown, reported mixed results second quarter. There's a reason for that. I mean, you've got some money that's gone into production of these locations. In fact, we take a look at this from betting here. From I think this is awful announcing, if I remember properly, but basically saying that Penn focused on ESPN Bet integrations ahead of football season, so they're spending money purposefully. Once again, they're using ESPN's name, which is owned by Disney. So is ABC and many other properties that maybe some people still don't realize, despite the fact that Disney's promoted their relationship or their ownership of ESPN for decades, even outfitting its grandest Florida theme park destination with ESPN's Wide World of Sports. And of course, that's a facility where you see competition primarily between young people in all types of sporting activities. In fact, they even utilize some of the facilities there as the NBA bubble, if you recall, just a few years ago. Now, moving over here, you can see that they spent most of their presentation and Q&A during their earnings call on the upgrades that will roll out in time for what will be a crucial football season at these locations. That could make ESPN Bet a more palatable and intuitive choice among the more than 100 million regular users of the ESPN app. You see, ESPN, Disney tied now directly to gambling. But it gets even more interesting than that with this. Penn Entertainment adding ESPN Bet branding to 8 more sports books. They're doing their level best to make this the next thing, which makes perfect sense. You're aligning with an entertainment leader, and you want to make this more palatable to not just your customers, but theirs. So they seem to have bounced back a little bit, but you can look at the 3 sports books right now that'll be rebranded. Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway, Lamberge, excuse me, Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge, and Plain Ridge Park Casino, Kansas, Louisiana, Massachusetts. And here are the 5 that'll be rebranded in September: Hollywood Casino Columbus, Ohio; Hollywood Casino Perryville, Maryland; Hollywood Casino Toledo, Ohio; L'Auberge Casino Resort Lake Charles, Louisiana, and Margaritaville Resort Casino Bossier City in Louisiana. And I probably pronounced that last one wrong. All I know is this: they're trying to make a meaningful connection between ESPN and Disney. As I said, business wise, this makes a lot of sense to me. And I get it. I really do. There is some significance to having a sports book that's branded with a sports broadcaster, which is still, I guess, what ESPN is. But if their app actually integrates into this ESPN Bet feature, that's a real problem. In fact, I actually think it's a real problem to have ESPN Bet exist at all. But again, Disney was in desperate need of funds, and Penn Entertainment decided, well, they could, shove off their last deal and jump into this new one, and they would have something that would be more marketable and lucrative. They were going to get to use ESPN's name. Well, unfortunately, that name comes along with Disney. And perhaps all that work that you sold these sports with, if you were ESPN or Disney at the time, has basically been undermined by your foray into sports gambling. And a lot of people are suggesting that Disney is actually considering putting gambling on their cruise ships. I don't think it would be all that hard, and most of them probably have the infrastructure for it. There are lots of lounges and empty spaces that could be repurposed into a casino. And casinos don't have to be big on a cruise ship to do well. In fact, the small casinos that I saw recently on an excursion that I took really didn't need to be all that big. They were just full at different times of the day when the boat was out at sea. So, what's to stop Disney from diving even further into gambling by equipping their cruise ships with casinos? Pretty much nothing. But now we have a little bit of story time because after some elements of my family went on a Disney cruise back in 2013, 2014, they were sent a survey that asked them specifically about sports betting, casinos, their interest in it, if they participate regularly, et cetera, et cetera. Then, after a trip to Disney World, which is something I used to do rather frequently, I was sent a survey asking my opinion on the engagement in gambling activity and whether or not that would be something I'd be interested in on their cruise ships or other offerings. They've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm told it goes back even farther than that anecdote that I just shared with you. I'm going to tell you this: Disney is at risk of not only blowing up their entire family image, I think they may have already done so. What kind of damage has it done, and what has it led to? You now have the adults in any of the Disney parks outnumbering the number of children. There's not a whole lot of families participating in that vacation. There still are, don't get me wrong, it's a significant number, but as compared to adults, that's not who's going to Florida. And at times, Disneyland itself looks to be, well, just adult babysitting. And that's not fantastic. But hey, I'm more interested in what your impressions are. Do you think that Disney's close relationship with Penn Entertainment in the form of this ESPN Bet enterprise is a good look? Do you think that it does kind of undermine the idea that they are supposed to be a family company? And finally, do you think that it is all American to participate in casino gambling like this? Because I'm going to hear arguments that that's the case. But the query is going to be, well, where's the family if kids aren't allowed to participate too? And then ask yourself this question: would you want your kids gambling at 8 to 10 years old? Probably not. And I know that argument's a little hollow, and I'm fine with you calling it out, but I just think it's weird that, outside of like a few people, I can't imagine people are okay with dragging their kids through a casino in the middle of Epcot. Although I don't think that would actually happen. I think the state of Florida has a good head on their shoulders at the moment. It doesn't mean it couldn't happen in the future. Regardless, what do you think about Mickey Mouse being your pit boss? Because ultimately, That's what he would kind of be doing. Anyway, for what it's worth, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, please double check that you're still subscribed because, like I said, about 40 people a day are being unsubscribed from the channel. And if you don't realize how important that is, I really am trying to get to 25K. So help me out. Double check. If you're not looking at a subscription, it's free. And you don't want to miss out on the 3 or so videos that I do every day. And of course, the live streams that I seem to do almost daily. Because, hey, I'm here for you and your entertainment. And unlike Disney, I'm not going to start branding gambling, despite my name. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.